The most dangerous lie you have ever been sold is that reality is a fixed, independent structure. We are taught to view the world as a rigid system governed by rules we can observe but never alter. But watch this monolith shatter. That feeling of solid ground breaking apart is exactly what happens when you test the boundaries of reality. What we call consensus reality is a behavioral contract. It is an agreement maintained entirely by social repetition and the fear of deviation. People mistake agreement for objectivity. They confuse what is common with what is strictly factual. Think about the words we use. Labels like impossible, delusional, or unrealistic. These are not laws of physics. They are linguistic scripts designed to keep human behavior predictable and manageable. They instruct your attention so society doesn't have to police you. Because this consensus reality is merely a negotiated model, it can be systematically hacked. You gain leverage the moment you stop mistaking social agreement for objective truth. To understand this, look at the human nervous system. It aggressively rejects 99% of incoming information, prioritizing rapid survival. The surviving data constructs a rigid wireframe box around you, turning your baseline experience into a highly controlled hallucination long before logic enters. Your nervous system decides what counts as real. Therefore, when you deliberately change what your nervous system prioritizes, the very fabric of your experienced reality changes. Advanced chaos magic strips away the mystical superstition. It is the precise mechanical rewiring of this biological interface. You are altering the operating parameters of what your brain perceives as possible. This practice is systems architecture. We strip away the theatrical aesthetics, the robes and the candles, focusing entirely on unapologetic, results-oriented engineering. This diagram illustrates sigilcraft in action. Watch as a complex behavioral instruction collapses into a compressed, abstract geometric glyph. Because the rational brain no longer recognizes the sentence, it slips right past the conscious mind's semi-permeable barrier. You are installing a directive into yourself. You can push this further with archetypes. Think of ancient gods, war, trickster, or seduction deities as pre-packaged behavioral operating systems. They are compressed blueprints that have survived history because they produce reliable outcomes. When you temporarily download one of these archetypes into your neurology, you override your default hesitations. It collapses internal contradictions, replacing your fragmented doubts with supreme, single-minded decisiveness. By treating symbols as code and archetypes as software, you stop asking the external world for permission. You take control of your own behavioral output. But you cannot install new code with intellect alone. Mere ideas and positive thoughts are far too weak to overwrite deeply entrenched neurological habits. You need a high plasticity state. Watch how this pupil snaps wide open under harsh light. That physical shock mimics extreme exhaustion or acute fear. In these intense moments, the brain temporarily drops its defensive filters and prioritizes new instructions. Operators use intense psychodrama and ritualized crises to artificially induce this vulnerable state on command. They create an environment where the stakes feel absolute. To lock the new instruction into the body's circuitry permanently, they use irreversible power anchors. The acute awareness of death, or the absolute finality of severing a tie, bypasses thought and grounds the intention deep within the nervous system. Reality only updates its programming under severe pressure. Effective rituals must cause a behavioral rupture. The fire must burn to leave a mark. Once the programming is installed, you need infrastructure. This is where you build autonomous behavioral engines, constructs designed to run highly focused tasks in the background without your continuous conscious input. These constructs apply continuous pressure on reality by automating your daily habits, improving your opportunity recognition, and maintaining environmental feedback loops while you sleep. This infrastructure extends directly into the digital realm. Corporate algorithms function exactly like emergent spirits. They model your behavior, predict your desires, and feed probabilistic ghosts of you back into your daily feed. You can hex these algorithmic models. By deliberately feeding them erratic, contradictory engagement, you disrupt their predictive capabilities. You train the system to misread you. Deploying automated psychological processes and camouflaging your digital footprint ensures your intent executes continuously. You exhaust consensus reality's friction without burning your own attention. Most people are fragmented, like scattered arrows. Coherence aligns your thoughts, identity, and actions into a single vector. Watch this unified vector pierce the boundary and warp the spatial grid. This extreme coherence plunges you into the chaos current. Inside this current, you experience time folding. The distance between your intention and the consequence collapses. This happens because all your behavioral hesitation has been eliminated. Waiting is an illusion caused by internal fragmentation. When you move with absolute finality, probability windows are forced wide open, and outcomes arrive with unnatural speed. You must confront a terrifying truth about manifestation. It is never about the universe granting you favors. Reality strictly reflects your own internal state. Understanding that reality is a negotiable interface permanently removes your excuses. You lose the comfort of blaming fate, luck, or external forces for your failures. Reality doesn't resist you, it reflects you. Strip away the illusion that you are separate from the system. As you align your internal architecture, your desired outcomes cease to feel like magic. They become entirely inevitable.